zealots from the Decapolis. Okay, that's our regions around the sea. We also noted a couple weeks in a row that we have to think about the sea not only as a body of water that's you can catch fish and go swimming and drink from, but it also represents the abyss. It's the enemy of God, the forces of chaos. So throughout your Old Testament and throughout ancient Near East thought, the sea is the abyss. The water is the enemy of God. God separates the water in Genesis 1, and that creates order. And when your life falls into chaos, it feels like a flood is rushing over you and you can't quite get your footing. And then you call out to God, and God becomes a rock that you put your foot down on. And so all of that imagery goes into this idea of sea. And then 2 weeks ago, we talked about how the authority of God is passed down to the Son. In the Old Testament, God stills the sea. Jesus shows up and he stills the sea, and the disciples say, whoa, wait a minute. Who is this? Because God stills the sea, and now we have Jesus stilling the sea. So what does that say about the Son? So the authority of the Father is passed down to the Son. This is all the past couple weeks. As a way of review, because this is going to come into one thing we want to note from Luke. We looked at this picture a couple weeks ago. The way that the ancient mind thought about the cosmos, the earth. The earth was like a disc that they sat on, and no matter what direction you went, you would end up with water. You could walk to the edge and there was an ocean. If you dug straight down, there was water. Water must be up above us because every once in a while it falls from the sky. So they envisioned this disc floating on water, and the idea of the abyss, so that bottom left corner and bottom right corner, you see the word abyss. It's the watery abyss that exists underneath the earth. And what's important about this is you can see on this diagram a lake right here in the middle of the earth. And so if you have a body of water like a lake, it must be an entrance to the abyss, to the underworld. And who lives in the underworld? Well, the demons do. You have all the pagan gods. Well, I'll show you in a minute, but that's where the demons live. And so that's going to enter the story. So, for instance, here's the abyss on this corner, here's the abyss on this corner. And the way the pagans thought about many of their gods, particularly the fertility gods, was that sometime around October to November, same thing in San Diego, as our weather changes, the fertility god who lives in the watery underworld comes out. So I have this arrow going up. The fertility god comes out from underneath of the earth, from the watery underworld, and it starts to move across the sky, and of course, it drops rain. Because when does it rain here in San Diego? So our weather and Israel's weather is very much the same in that the rain will begin sometime October, November, and then around April, the weather stops. Now, I know all of you guys on the East Coast, that's not how it happens, but for us out here and in Israel, what they pictured was sometime around April, when the rain stopped, it meant that God went back underneath the earth, and now the God existed. Now the God to a Jew is a demon. So the demons live in the abyss. They live in the waters under the earth, and they revolve on this cycle of fertility as they bring rain to the earth and water the earth. So you see the Sea of Galilee, what do you picture? Aha! Who lives underneath that sea, or who lives in the abyss? That's the demons, and of course that's going to enter our story as we're reading this. Okay, so last week, 2 weeks in a row, we've noted Jesus starts out with his disciples on the side of the religious Jews, and he says, let's go to the other side. Now that carries all kinds of meaning. The other side of what? Well, it's the other side of everything. It's the other side of